Welcome back to the Rick Smith Show. Now, here is Rick Smith.
So the entire world, collective sigh of relief yesterday as world leaders reached out to President Biden and expressed their great joy that he is the president. In fact, the South Korean president tweeted that America is back, which I thought very, very fitting, very fitting. But so much yesterday to get to, so much on the agenda. So fun today as well. I can't wait to talk to my good friend Sarah Burris. She's a reporter over at RawStory, does some of the most important reporting of our day, and one of my favorite people in the media. Sarah, thanks for taking time for us.
Hey, happy Thursday, happy second day of the Biden administration.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, like how they have the BC and the AD. You remember that? Like this is like kind of AT, 2 AT. Here we are. But the world collective sigh. In fact, a sigh of release. In fact, one of the headlines was just like that. In congratulating Biden, world leaders express relief at Trump's departure because there was a thought that he might not.
I don't know if you noticed, but at the actual inauguration, there was a lot of wind. And I think that was the world actually collectively sighing together. It just created such a huge whirlwind of people where we're all just like, oh, thank you.
But equally weird, and I don't know if you saw this, but Donald Trump actually left a note for Joe Biden, and I didn't think he would do it. Now Biden has said it's very generous, and maybe someday we get to see it because I want to see what very generous means. But he left a note. I mean, that's pretty impressive, I think.
And I didn't think that he would either because I created a fake one that I thought was hysterical, and then it turns out there was a real one that showed up, and it was like, oh, whoops. But yeah, I wonder if the reason he thinks that it was so charitable was because he actually left a note and nobody really expected him to. It's just like, oh, this is very generous because he didn't, nobody expected him to actually leave one or, and I don't know. I can't imagine he would say anything that would be that thoughtful,
right?
And in my fake letter, I was like, you have to flush the toilet in the office 10 or 15 times. So
jiggle the handle. Is that what you're gonna say?
Well, you know how he has to flush the toilet so many times.
Yeah. He needs a lot of water.
So, right. And so I don't know. I wonder too what he said, and I wonder if he's just being thoughtful and gracious about it in the way that he speaks about it, so that I wonder if it's just a way of kind of brushing this all away, to not kind of create this continued animus going on in the country.
No, you're right, and that's what I said. I think this is Biden being very generous because I gotta tell you, I think the note was 2 letters long, a big giant FU with his goofy signature. I think that's what it is. But hey, good riddance. Bye. Good luck whatever's next. Good luck in jail. But the fun now begins because we still have Marjorie Taylor Greene, who today unfurled her articles of impeachment. And I guess my first thought is she goes through all of this conspiracy stuff about Hunter Biden and rehashes all of the Rudy Giuliani stuff. My thought is, should we tell her that was all kind of BS and everyone was kind of in on the fact that there's really nothing there? Or should we just let her continue to look stupid?
I kind of feel like we should just let her keep looking stupid. Because at this point, I don't know if you've watched any of Jen Psaki's briefings yet, but they're just ridiculously normal. And so I feel like the only way we're really going to get our kicks anymore is by watching Marjorie Taylor Greene. because Jen Psaki's not going to do anything stupid, and she's not going to yell at anybody and say fake news. And I kept hoping that maybe just once she'd throw it out there just to mess with people, maybe on April Fool's Day.
She'll dress up like Sarah Huckabee Sanders and be really mean.
I really would love to have a reporter ask her, do you have a hair and makeup person? Do you have like a stylist back behind us in an office back there anywhere? Because they did, the Trump administration had their own hair and makeup people that did Kylie up before she would go out and do her little briefing. And so I wonder if somebody would ask her that just for grins. But yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene, bless her heart. That's a big bless your heart. Yeah, that's almost like oh, you poor child kind of a thing. That's the next level to bless your heart. She's just, I kind of was trolling her a little bit today because we got to about 2:30 and she hadn't, filed her articles of impeachment. And I was like, hey, Margie, 2:30.
Yeah, we're waiting.
Where you at?
Yeah, you're falling behind. Did you wake up late? Not set the alarm?
What's funny about it is it turns out she realized that they're a lot harder to do than she thought. There was a report that it did take her a lot longer than she anticipated. And I don't know if she just Googled like a Cliff Notes version of how to file impeachment.
Impeachment for dummies.
Right, or if she just took the Trump impeachment and then just like copy and pasted and then added in her own stuff. Because I still haven't seen the full document yet. I don't know how long it is. I don't know how detailed it is. I've seen her press release. I've seen her web video, but I can't see the text of the bill anywhere. And so I'm curious if this is really a thing, or maybe, this is something where, she said that she was going to submit it, and Kevin McCarthy was like, why don't you just bring it by my office? And then he was like, oh, thank you, Rip.
Yeah.
Trash.
I got a file for that.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see how this is going to move forward, but I know for the next 2 years, we are going to enjoy every minute of this, and she's going to be such a great resource for fundraising for Democrats.
Yeah. Her and Gun Fetish Barbie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm expecting that.
What's her name? I forget.
Lauren Boebert. If she doesn't get expelled, she's going to be a lot of fun. But here's the thing, and speaking of expelling, there are a number of Democratic senators who sent out a letter to the Ethics Committee, to Ethics Committee Chairman Chris Coons, looking for Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley to either be expelled or to be censured. Curious, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, this is the first step. I think it's a good step. I think that there should be a hearing. I think the hearing should be public, because I think, one of the most important things from this whole thing, this whole insurrection attempt, is we deserve a lot of transparency. We deserve to have the American people be able to watch and hear their answers to questions, tough questions, like, what were you thinking? And what does this raised fist that's like ginning up the crowd, what does that mean? The letter that they sent, it was pretty concise in the way that it talked about what they felt like he did. I keep saying he because Howley, to me, feels like, the real instigator. Ted Cruz kind of seems like the like the plankton that's just following,
right?
The pilot fish who's just following the predator, and not really, I think Ted Cruz just seems like an opportunist who is trying to make something out of it. And but I'm curious to see where it goes. We'll see. I hope it actually happens.
Yeah, the 14th Amendment is very clear, though. It's no American who is engaged in insurrection or rebellion is allowed to hold office.
Well, and the Senate rules are very, very clear, too. I think the Senate rules are more stringent than even the 14th, that requires you to have, honorable conduct. You can't even bring a gun on the Senate floor, or the House floor, for that matter. But yeah, these are strict ethics rules, and with a an ethics chairman who is now a Democrat, I have greater faith that this will, we'll actually have a legitimate hearing. And I just really hope that something happens, even if it's, if it's not expulsion, then at the very least, I think baseline, the guys need to be censured.
No, I'm right there. So there has to be a negative consequence in this for somebody. There really has to be. There has to be some bit of accountability. And I've been saying for a while, we can't get united. There's no way of coming back together unless we hold somebody accountable. And then there has to be that act of contrition.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing that's been so difficult to watch, is that all of these Republicans are kind of starting to treat it like business as usual. And that is coming up against, Joe Biden. It's really hard for me to say President Biden. Like, I just keep wanting to say Joe, because
he is Joe.
And he is such a Joe. He is President Joe. And, but it seems very much like this, he honest and truly wants to bring the country together, and America really seems to be behind it. And the Republicans don't want to play that way. And I wonder to what extent the White House will kind of take this approval rating that he's got out for a drive and see what it'll do. Because he's polling at 66% right now. That's astounding.
That is.
He won by 7 million votes, which to me is a total mandate. We won the House, we won the Senate, and he's got an approval of 66. We need to start pushing a slate of legislation. It needs to go through fast.
Nope. I'm right there with you. And look, I think, for me, the firing of Peter Robb yesterday was a decisive move. It was a good move. It made me go, I love this. It's a BFD, man.
It is a BFD. And, I think that we talk a lot about President Joe's, tendencies to be more moderate. A lot of people wanted to call him this big, huge liberal, but secretly most of us were like, yeah, no, we wish. But when it comes to labor issues, like, the guy was elected because of firefighters. I mean, they were the first union who really stood up and supported him in his very first campaign for the Senate. And that relationship to labor has been strong from that point forward. And if we can just get him to not be afraid of acting on his, loyalty to labor, and actually, not be afraid to work to bring about some legislation that actually helps us, then I think we got something.
No, I'm right there with you. And to highlight your point of the firefighters being the first union to endorse him, they actually did the endorsing at a Teamsters Hall out in Western Pennsylvania.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. So I mean, Biden he's got the support of unions across the country, because he's got a stellar voting record over his career, and that is showing. And I'm like I said, I'm thrilled to see some action, because I was a little worried. I was a little worried we were going to get another Obama, another Clinton, another Carter, where they talked a good game, made some promises, and then fell way short.
And I think that there will be some of those issues. I'm bracing for them.
Sure.
I don't think it's going to be around those issues. At least I hope not.
I'm with you there. Back to the press briefing. Fauci had a Saturday Night Live moment. Which I thought was hysterical.
So good.
And it
was amazing.
It was amazing. I got this Johnny Cochran vibe, though. If it don't fit, you must have quit. If it don't replicate, you can't. It can't. What was it? I can't remember the word now.
So basically, he said, they asked him about Amazon, because Amazon has offered to help with distribution for the vaccine. The shot is apparently so easy to give, a monkey could do it. But right now, all we have are nurses doing it. And so Amazon offered this. And one of the reporters asked, do you think during the Trump administration, if they had agreed to work with Amazon, if there would have been a bigger and better rollout? Because at this point, you're getting about 500,000 shots in arms. What is it, a day, or is it a week? Is it a day? I think it's a day.
I think it's a day.
And his goal is, in the first 100 days, to have 100 million vaccinations. So it is a day. And the Trump administration had a much higher standard that they obviously couldn't meet. And I think with Biden, we're in a better place, and I think he could move a lot faster than even 1 million a day, but we'll see. I think they're playing it a little bit safe. Anyway, so they asked this question to Fauci, and Fauci's like, I don't know. It maybe could, maybe it couldn't, but I just don't know about that. I would just be throwing my arms up. And then he was like, it's funny, the different thing about this administration is you can say that you don't know something, and that's okay.
And that is okay. And like I said earlier, the one thing that I want you to say during a global pandemic is, I don't know, let's find out. But to the Johnny Cochran moment, viruses don't mutate unless they replicate. And I just got that kind of Johnny Cochran vibe. And I don't know why. It's just
the whole thing. This is I felt so much better about the world. I've been nervous because I've had the sniffles a little bit, and I flew not too long ago. I was like, oh my god, I have the Rona. So I got one of those oxygen testers and stuff, and so I had it on my finger when the briefing was started, and Fauci was talking, and I looked over, and my heart fluttered and got faster. It was like, oh, I love the Fauci. It's biological.
That is a good thing. And then let's go to the story that I saw right after this. Evidently, you've got a representative from Maryland, a guy named Andy Harris, who decided he was going to try and bring a gun into the House chambers. What is it with these lunatics who want to bring guns into the House chamber? Now, Lauren Boebert, my gun Nazi Barbie, she tweeted out that she was sad that she didn't have her gun so that she could shoot the people who were, she said today 1776, which is weird to me why you would rile them up only to want to then shoot them. But that's kind of the vibe I got from that. What is it with these fetishists that they have to carry their guns with them everywhere? I
don't get it. It never has made any sense to me. And I think with Lauren in particular, I guess if you're not from Washington and you hear all these stories about violence and crime and whatever, maybe they think that they need it for protection. I don't get it, but they can have their guns in their office. They can have their guns in their cars. They cannot take their guns into the Congress, and they cannot take it on the floor. And that's what happened with Mr. Biggs today. And Pelosi actually set a rule that, and she said this before Biggs went through, that they were going to start fining people if they brought their guns through. And I thought that it was a $25,000 fine. Bob told me that the first offense is only $5,000, so I was really excited the dude was going to get fined $25,000. But hey, next time it's going to be good. It's a big old check he's going to have to write.
We got a lot of people who need some help, and if we can redistribute wealth from Gun Fetish Barbie and from this guy to people who need to pay their bills and stay in their homes, however we got to do it, yeah. I guess is a good way to go. Let's talk a little bit about the inauguration. It was a great day. I thought Biden gave a really good speech, but it was Bernie Sanders who stole the show. Curmudgeon-y Bernie Sanders with his mittens and his coat and all huddled up in his Vermont wear. That was the meme of the whole thing.
Oh, it was so funny. And I agree. The Biden speech was really beautiful. The speech was very Biden. It's not this big, flowery, momentous kind of syntax and language that Obama does. It was who Biden is, and it is that authenticity that I think people connect to. And so when he can deliver a speech that delivers the authenticity, I think that's when he does the best.
Right.
And he crushed it. And behind him was Bernie Sanders in a big old coat and what looked like mail he needed to drop off at the post office. And he just did the stop off at the inauguration. I got to be somewhere, you guys. I got I got to run to the Trader Joe's up here. So I think one of the things that I noticed is that a lot of people were writing stories about, like fashion reviews about Michelle Obama, and how the one that really hacked me off was like, the woman behind, or the power of her belt or something like that. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that the woman behind the belt is actually the power, but that's just me.
Yeah.
And the giant dove on Lady Gaga's shoulder that everybody thought was the Mockingjay. And, there were some interesting things. So I got a little weird last night. I was tired, and I wrote my own fashion review for Bernie Sanders, and I've always wanted to do this because the stupid fashion reviews basically take something so innocuous and then they just explode it into this big, huge deal, and so I did that. I took Bernie's mittens and made it into a story about the country coming together and the world community and the warmth and love and compassion of us all, because he wasn't wearing gloves. He wasn't separating his fingers with gloves. They were mittens, folks. He brought his fingers together, which is what we're trying to do with the country.
So we no longer give each other the middle finger. I'm with you. Bringing the fingers together. That is a great message, and thank you for Bernie for bringing that to us.
Exactly. And for, I think it's Jenna Ellis who makes them. She's actually a teacher in Vermont. She doesn't do the mittens professionally, and her email box is full because people want more mittens, which I think is so precious. But I love her for doing it, and salute to her.
Yeah, absolutely. I've only owned one pair of mittens, and it was an ex-girlfriend from high school's mother who made them. And I had one mitten. The other one was they were joined together so you could hold hands and have mittens on, which I thought, now that I think back on it, was it was corny then, but kind of sweet now.
Well, it is sort of sweet.
Aw.
I think mittens are great. I especially like the mittens where the top part is kind of cut so you can fold it over. And you don't have to take your whole mitten off. You can just fold down the thing, and then you have access to your fingers, because that's really helpful for if you're going to type outside in the snow for whatever reason. I
mean, for me, when I read your piece and I saw the memes going around, my favorite one being Bernie sitting on the chair on top of Mike Pence's head like the fly.
Yes,
I thought that was brilliant.
Mine too.
Brilliant.
That was so good.
But my first thought was, is this Bernie now going, screw it, I'm going back to being me, not combing my hair, wrinkled suits. That was my thought. Because the last couple of years while running for president, someone combed his hair, someone straightened him up, ironed his suit, put on some nicer clothes, and now he's somewhat polished. As where the last time I met him, his suit was all wrinkled and his hair was like Einstein, and it was authentic.
I hope that it goes back to that, because that is that authentic piece of Bernie Sanders. I get it too. When you're trying to run for president, you probably need to iron a suit or get something dry cleaned. But I appreciate the fact that he's not that guy.
Yeah.
So I liked it. I think it was really beautiful.
Overall, last question I got for you, because I woke up feeling good today, and I hope the country is, and by the fact that, as you pointed out, 66% approval rating, which Trump never came anywhere near. I think the country is maybe starting to feel that way as well.
I think so too, and I hope that. One of the things that's sort of starting to happen with the QAnon people and the right-wing folks is they're coming to realize that they were misled, that they were lied to. There are a lot of messages online about people, realizing that and feeling like an idiot. And I don't want them to necessarily feel like we are not receptive to, bringing them into a movement of common sense and science and those sorts of things. What I said is that, just apologize and say you were wrong and welcome to the movement.
Yep, we've all been wrong. We just admit it and we move on. You can be wrong and you're forgiven. Just say, hey, oops. I'm ready to come back. But there's got to be some sanity along with that. But here's the good thing. As I said yesterday, I actually saw a guy scraping the Trump sticker off his bumper. I'm not sure the message yet, if that's a, hey, we're going to come back and oops, kind of thing, or we're going deeper underground to plot. I'm not sure yet, but for me, overall, good stuff so far. But Sarah, I appreciate the time, the work that you do. Hope folks will check it out at rawstory.com. Sarah Burris is one of the fabulous folks over there. And again, I appreciate the time, Sarah. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Have an awesome weekend.
You as well. Let's take a quick break. Right back. Stick around. Listen to The Rick Smith Show.
Saving work in America, one show at a time. The Rick Smith Show.